You're wasting your time trying to sell to the wrong kind of people. This happens to new business owners all the time. So I'm here to help you with some 6 great tips on how you can really target in on the right buyers so you can get your business off to the right start straight away. So it's time to stop chasing the wrong people and start focusing in on converting the right people. So let's dive in. Where do you find the people that want to buy from you? It's the first thing. So, tip number one, know who you are selling to. Know who you are selling to. Don't just think of your clients in broad terms. If you're wanting to market to business owners, don't just say business owners, right? But you want to get really specific. It's business owners who, and then what's their problem. All right. So, really call out their problem so that you're being very specific and targeted at who you're calling out, because then they'll actually sit up and listen and say, all right, she's talking to me or he's talking to me. So know who you are really selling to and call them out in your marketing. Okay. Number two, tap on existing demand. Now, what do I mean by that? You don't need to create demand. You just need to find the demand where it already exists. So look at online communities, look at social media groups, forums, where people are already asking for the solutions you provide. Now, this is a really helpful tip because it leads me on to number three, tip number three, which is when you're in those groups that I've just talked about, social media groups, the communities, the forums, when you're in those groups, really listen to what the people are saying, because that there is absolute gold for your marketing. When you're in a community with the people that are looking for the services that you're providing or looking for the solution that you offer, having just listening to how they're talking about their problems and how they're talking about what they want, what their dreams are, what kind of solution they're looking for. When you listen to that language and you use that in your marketing instead of what you might necessarily say, use what they say instead. That means you're really going to resonate with them, and they'll really sit up and take notice because they recognize what you're saying because it's what they're saying. All right. Tip number 4, position yourself as a guide. You want to be an expert. People don't buy from random strangers, right? They buy from trusted experts. So show up, provide value to your target audience, and prove that you understand their pain so that you can make them understand that you know what they're going through and you're the person to help them. People would much rather go to someone that they identify, yeah, they get me, they understand my pain, they understand what I'm going through. I'm going to go with them. All right. So really position yourself as a guide to help them through that, to guide them towards your solution. Tip number 5, have an irresistible offer. Now, you hear this all the time on social media. Everyone's talking about this irresistible offer. All right. But your product and service, what it means by having an irresistible offer is your product or service should be an absolute no-brainer. It should be so easy. It should be actually impossible for them to pass up because it's such a good deal, and it creates that fear of missing out, that FOMO, if they don't do it, right? So if your ideal client hesitates, it's either too complicated an offer, they just don't understand what they're getting, and you've probably loaded too much into it and it's just all over the place and too complicated, or it doesn't speak to their problem. If it doesn't speak to their problem, they're not going to buy. A classic example of this would be if you were speaking to vegetarians and you're trying to sell them beef burgers. Doesn't matter what you say to them, it doesn't matter how enticing the offer is, they're never going to buy because you're not speaking to them, because they're vegetarians, they're not going to eat meat, right? So have an irresistible offer that it's going to be irresistible for them to take up. It's going to be impossible for them to say no to. And the final tip I have for you today, number 6, is test and refine. You're not going to necessarily get things right out of the gate, right on day one. You've got to test your messaging, tweak it, have a look at your analytics and see what people reacted to, which post did they react to, and look at why that might be. And then test again. And you want to stop guessing what is going to work, and you want to start attracting the right buyers by looking at who is responding and how many people are responding to a particular post as opposed to another one, and just look at the difference between the two and work out what is it that's making people sit up and take notice. So if that's been helpful to you and you want to know more, then check out my business Launchpad program. And this is where I walk you through these exact steps and more, everything you need to actually launch a business from day one, having no idea what business to start, all the way through to having an irresistible offer at the end where you're ready to launch a business out into the world, confident that you've got all the steps in place, ready to get your offer sold. All right. So if you're interested in that, I'll place a link for more information to it somewhere around this video, and you can go and check that out. I would love to have you join me on that program. It's something I think that will be very helpful to you if you are trying to set up a business and you're just a little bit stuck at the moment as to how you move things forward.